Good morning, my blessed babies. How are you? I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you're having an amazing week. If you're on spring break, I hope you're having an amazing spring break. I'm coming on here because I just wanted to share um, a light note. I we go to sleep watching so much stuff and hearing so much stuff, and throughout the day we hear stuff, and then when we wake up we hear a whole bunch of stuff, and we see stuff, whether it's from Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Snapchat, whatever. And the world is just moving around, and you have people that sit in certain corners of the world or certain areas of the world, and they speak and they advocate for certain things and different things, as people are allowed to and as they should. I'm one of those people. I advocate a lot, and I like to. I'm, I've become a lot more interested in history, especially after finding out about my own family history. Um, After I got that knowledge and I really looked at all the documents and found the documents and took the documents for myself, and have them and have that piece of history, it's gotten me more it's gotten me more into history as a whole piece, like just learning history around the world. But I feel like in order to learn history, you have to kind of start with yourself, the same way as when you take a psychology class. You have to start with yourself first. So, and I've been learning about my family and about Black history since 2017. And I pretty much know my family history on my dad's side. One of these days, I have to learn about my mom's side. I know that both sides of my family were born out of slavery. I know that that's a fact. I know that my greats and my greats, my greats and my grandparents and my parents, all on the line, all slavery, all slaves, all. Even when you get into the Jim Crow era, I know a lot of people are like, well, there was no slavery in Jim Crow. There was. Slavery didn't end, or it wasn't official. It still goes on today, but it wasn't. People were still being found. Like, slaves were still being found even into the 70s. So what does that tell you? White people do whatever the fuck they want to, right? But so I was just watching this video, and it was a video on how there's Black Christians, or I guess Christians in general, that'll tell other people that Jesus suffered the most. He suffered more than slaves. And so now there's this debacle or debate that who went through the worst? Was it Jesus or was it slaves? And I think as a collective, we can look and say definitely slaves, Black slaves particularly, went through worse things than Jesus did. Now, granted, the way that they murdered Jesus was horrible, but they also were murdering a lot of people like that around that time. That was just the way that they executed people around that time. Just like during, I think, medieval times or whatnot, they had the guillotine. So it was just different ways that they started executing people. Like now today, they use gas chambers and a lethal injection, as before that time they used the firing squad. I think they still do use the firing squad in some instances, but yeah, I know what I'm saying. So yeah, that happened. That happened to Jesus. It happened to slaves, but it happened to Jesus once. It happened to slaves for almost 500 years. I'll say more than 300 years, more than 400 years, more than 500 years even, because the shit is still happening today. Like, we may not be getting whooped and hung up and fed to alligators and dogs and pigs and all of that stuff like back in the day, but it's still the same. Our people are being put into prison and jails at mass amounts, because prison and jail is the new form of slavery. It's the new plantation. And then you used to have the KKK squad out there, aka the police. So, it's still here. Slavery is still here. Genocide for our people is still around, and people just be glossing over it and trying to cover it up. And you got white people who act like they don't know what's happening, or they act like something never existed, or they act like they're the descendants, so they don't have their hands in anything. Yeah, right. And then you have Black people who know nothing about their own history, like literally their own individual. biological history. They don't know their background, their own background. Then they don't know the black history as a whole. So you just have a whole bunch of black people spewing out what white people have taught them. And it's just a whole ass mess. And it's really exhausting going back and forth with all of this still in this day and age. But unfortunately, it's something that we have to do because black people are owed so, and it's crazy because as time goes on, the more that these people owe us, it's still adding, it's adding up, interest is adding up. And it's interesting because it's like black Americans are the last people that white people have to pay. And white people know that if they pay us, they will go broke. They've already gone broke when they shut down, when the slave trade was shut down. Because we know that the slave trade was like a multi-billion or multi-million, if something like that. It made millions to billions of dollars for white people. And when it was dismantled, it made them broke, which is why they went into even more of a full throttle after slavery to keep their slaves, because they were broke. They were becoming broke. Like, you want to know how ghettos and shit were created? White people created those shits. That's where ghettos and shits created, because they were starting to become broke. Y'all know that the main source of income for white people back in those times was slavery. There was nothing else. They didn't have nothing else to do. Like, yeah, they had little shops and stuff and things like that, but the only reason why white neighborhoods and white cities and towns were successful is because they killed off black people, they murdered black people, they blew up their cities, they blew up their towns. Every time black people tried to venture off and do stuff for themselves, it was always messed up. And that is the sole reason why white people have a head start in this country above everybody else, is because they stole what black people had. Had white people kept to themselves and really used their brains the way they claim they do, they wouldn't have need to do all the stuff that they did to us, but they did. And so, that's why today we still have these conversations about what black people went through, what they didn't go through. And it's just exhausting that um they did those things to our ancestors, and then now later they're telling the descendants of those black ancestors, that no, your ancestors didn't go through that. You're not going through anything either. No, you have it good. Oh, you have it this. Oh, you don't have to do this. Oh, that didn't happen to you. Oh, that didn't happen to you. Again, yeah, the horrific things that you put our ancestors through may not have happened to us, but guess what? We have to walk around with that stress and that trauma in our bloodline, in our DNA. And I watch, and I'm looking, and I see that white people do too. They carry the same stress and those same strains, but they're not as bad. So going back to this Jesus and slave thing, like, what? And then sometimes they make us try to feel bad about Irish people, and I'm just like, my family on my dad's side was created with the Irish man and a black girl. Now, I'm not going to say a black woman, because she was not a woman. She was 12 years old. My great, great, great grandmother was 12 years old when she was sold off and married to a white man who I think was in his 30s, his late 30s at the time, or early 40s at the time. She's 12. She was sold and then married off to a white man, an Irish man, and had 17 of his babies. And there, thus, out of one of those 17 children, my family tree was created. So um it's just mind-boggling to me how white people can just sit in their lives and act like none of this shit has popped off, act like they don't owe us anything. Yes, white people of today, the descendants of white people, you all are responsible for what your ancestors did. Just like black people are responsible for still helping our people get up and finishing what our ancestors did, you white people are responsible for what your ancestors did, whether you like it or not, whether you realize it or not. You are responsible, because that's how bloodlines work. That's how generations work. Shit is passed down. And the fact that a lot of you white people are living in the same houses that had sheds in the back where black slaves were kept, or you're living in the same you're living on the same land where slaves were kept, where they were burnt, where they were eaten, whatever. Y'all are still holding on to those traumas, which is why black people too cannot get rid of their traumas, because y'all are holding on to our traumas just as much. And then y'all go even further and y'all make money off of our trauma. Y'all set up these weak ass plantations as fucking museums and tourist attractions and wedding destinations and shit like that. So that proves that y'all know that y'all are keeping black Americans, the white people, y'all are keeping black Americans from getting our reparations, from being able to get things like houses and be able to find meaningful um financial means and things. Like, y'all are standing in the way, and whether y'all know this or not, which I know y'all know this, y'all don't give a fuck. That's what y'all not talking about. Y'all love to sit there and rally with us and kiki in our face and take our essence and take our light, but y'all don't never sit there and say, hey, we can help, we can fix this. Yeah, bitch, y'all can fix this because y'all are supposed to fix this. And that's the thing, y'all want to walk around here and act like y'all Christians and y'all holier than thou and your Bible and your religion this and religion that. But y'all don't even hear God when he talk to y'all. Y'all don't hear Jesus when he really talking to y'all. Y'all don't hear him at all. You want to know why? Because anything spiritual, y'all have deemed as crazy, demonic, and witchcraft. So there's no fucking way that y'all are really listening to God and y'all are hearing God. Because if you did, you would hear him when he told y'all to give the shit back that y'all got. It don't belong to y'all. And that's dead ass. Like, that is dead fucking ass. Whether you white people realize it or not, y'all got a lot of blood on y'all hands. Even though y'all didn't put your hands into slavery, the blood was washed off the day y'all was conceived and created and born. The blood was washed off their hands and passed to you. So just like black people have an agenda, not an agenda, but a task, have chores to do in order to clean up and fix their community, white people, y'all have tasks and chores too to clean up y'all community as well. And that's the problem. You white descendants, y'all think that everything is peachy fucking king, and it's not. Y'all think because y'all get to sit in the faces of the descendants of slaves and see actual people that have survived and were born out of slavery, and y'all get to kiki with them, y'all think that shit is cute and cool. This is why I don't like to fraternize and really keep white people in my circles, because I know for a fact these motherfuckers go back to their layers and have evil fucking parties and just do wicked shit and talk about wicked shit. White people are fake as fuck to me, bro. And y'all are gonna keep being fake as fuck to me until y'all really pitch the fuck in and really put boots to the ground and really match actions with y'all words. Y'all all the time go out and protest and no key. All of that shit is bullshit, bro. Until y'all really band the fuck up and work together and give black people what they're owed, y'all not really doing shit, bro. Y'all are living rent free and y'all are living carefree and worry free on land that is ours. Do y'all know that our ancestors have paid for all the our ancestors have paid for the lands that y'all white asses live on, whether it was through actual money, wooden nickels, and blood and survival. Y'all live in houses, lands. Y'all have businesses, a lot of shit that was really meant for black people to have. I'm still trying to figure out how a black man married um, two black women in my bloodline, yet their families don't receive any motherfucking thing. I'm trying to figure out how my great great grandmother was married and had a man that acquired a lot of shit just from having slaves and things of that nature, yet her family sees nothing. No land, no house, no money, no nothing. We don't get anything. And it's crazy because when my family decided to put together a family tree on Ancestry, we finally were able to get linked to the white side. And that white side acknowledged us and said, oh, how do you know our grandfather or whatnot? And we said, well, that's our grandfather too. And the white folks never reached back out to us. They never said anything because they know that these descendants are holding on to secrets. That's the thing. Black people, we really weird for sitting up here with these descendants of white people, kiki and laughing and holding hands and kumbaya, and they're legit holding secrets to our destinies, bro. This is why I say that's why I'm always telling people, watch the company you keep, bruh. especially watch these white people, black folks, just because they don't have the power to put you in shackles and put a German Shepherd after your asshole, does not mean that they're your friend just because they smile. No, they are living two worlds, bro. They sit here and they jump in our world and then jump back in their world and jump in our world. They're literally infiltrating us while holding on to the goods that are ours, and we just sitting there kikiing with them. We gotta stop that and stop that cookout shit, inviting shit to they don't belong with us. I really wish that our people would really pick up, just, we need to really pick up Malcolm X mind frame, bro. Like, we should have never dropped that. I'm so upset that our community really, like, low key turned their back on on Malcolm X and really picked up what MLK was teaching and preaching. I really feel like if we took both of them and combined both of them together, we would have. I don't know what we would have been did, but it just, black people, this message is really for us and really for y'all. Like, there's no way in hell you can be okay with. It's like y'all ever seen the movie The Boy in the Striped Pajamas or whatever? It's a movie literally based off of the Jews and the Holocaust, which is crazy that I'm talking about Holocaust and slavery because, but it was literally a movie. So a little boy, his dad, the little German boy, his dad was like a general of the army or whatever. And so he had to move, and he moved his family. He had to move his family into like where the war was at, and he moved them um in uh where the little boy father moved the family. He basically moved them over to a concentration camp, and the dad was trying to mask it as if it wasn't that. And then so the little boy ends up being, curious or whatever. He ends up finding out that, nigga, there's a concentration camp in our fucking backyard. Like, what is this? And he ends up finding this little boy that's in the concentration camp. And these are children, they don't know no better. And so they're being friends. The little German boy is bringing the Jewish boy cookies and cake and food and everything, and they're just chopping it up and playing and being little boys. And then one day, the Jew little boy is like, "You should come over here one day so we can have some fun." And the little German boy is like, "Yeah, we'll do that." And they go and they meet up to have their play date, and that's that. That's the end of that. Because them being little boys, they walked into the gas chamber and they thought it was, just some fun, and it turned out not to be. So that's what I'm saying. Like, as black folks, we're sitting here having key moments with these white folks, and as we've seen around the world, a lot of these white folks are walking us into our own demise, because they're holding on to secrets, and they know secrets, and they're not real. Stop trying to be friendly with these motherfuckers, because they're not all friendly. And even the ones that say, "Oh, I'm friendly," be mindful of those ones, especially. Like, bro, just imagine if our ancestors and our elders are teaching or have taught us about these folks. You got to know, and you got to understand that their folks are teaching them things about us and how to, do things to us and cause things. And that's what they're doing. So I don't know. I just felt like I needed to say that because that video, every time I'm in that era. Like, I'm in that era, and I want to be in that era where I am learning about things, and I'm trying to, fix things. You learn something and you apply it. You don't just learn it and then just throw it off to the side. Like, we really got some more work to do, bro. Like, a lot of work, and a lot of that work has to come from the white side. But the thing is, how do you get them motherfuckers to give a fuck? How do you get someone that has access to everything in the world, everything at their fingertips, all the privilege in the world? How do you make a person like that or people like that give a fuck about people that literally hasn't done anything to them? That's the cool part about it. Even to this day, white people will never be able to say what have black people done to them throughout these hundreds of years. What have we really done to these folks to have them treat them the way that they treat us? Find that answer for me. Find that answer for me. Find an answer that says, "Here, this is the answer. This is why white people treat you black people like this." Give me the answer, and don't tell me no shit about today. Oh well, y'all know how y'all robbers and murderers. No, don't tell me none of that shit today. Tell me about when it first started. Tell me how it first started. Give me the answer to that. Don't tell me about no shit about some, oh, where the African man sold. Don't tell me that shit either. Tell me why white people don't like black people. Give me that answer in solidarity, like solidify the answer. Like give me a solid ass answer. I don't want to hear no internet answer. I don't want to hear no textbook answer. I want to hear a legit answer on why white people do not like black people. Give me a solid ass reason why, and make it a good one too. Because if it's not, whoever agrees with why white people treat black people, y'all really need a one-way ticket to hell, and to stay there too, because at this moment there's no actual reason. Just like Germans had no actual reason why they murked millions of Jews, although they claim they do, but they really don't. So I don't know, but anywho, I just had to say that because that that's a current event. I mean, we're literally speaking on I'm speaking on a current event. I know a lot of people feel like slavery was a million years ago and nobody should talk about it, but um, as a descendant, I'm gonna keep talking about it because black people are still heavily affected, not just by slavery, but by a lot of different things that have happened over the decades. Like we have not been let up on since they brought us up over here, or however they did the slave trade. Black people have not been let up off of in America at all, unless we strip ourselves of our blackness and of our culture, and we mosey on down to the white man's side and act just like him. That's the only time that they accept us, and even then, they still not accepting us because when something happen, they'll put us on the front line. So you cannot trust these folks at all, bro. At all. They're not trustworthy at all. At all. And we have rights and we're allowed to sit there and stand up, but yet we don't. I don't know. It seems like to me like there was more, and it probably was more, a lot more fight with our ancestors back then, because they were really fighting for survival, bro. Like literally fighting for survival, bro. Like literally fighting to live. Like we don't have to fight as much to live, because those things are just really given to us through our rights. But um it's like one of those things, like, do we continue to fight or do we just be quiet because at least we have more than what our ancestors did? But it's like, no, it's not enough. Like it's literally not enough. But then it's like you look around and it's like, well, it seems like it's enough because we have a lot of rich black people. But then also it feels like sometimes they're also the problem too. You have all these rich white people, all these rich black folks, and they're always talking about how the community is, community that. But imagine if all the rich black folks helped all the other black folks. We would have been up, bro. We would have been up. So that just goes to show, though, at the end of the day, though, that it really is it is a dog eat dog world, and it's also every man for himself, because ain't no fucking unity for one. I'm just rambling now, but I really just wanted to just talk about how um, black folks are too trusting. They were trusting back then when they were putting us on ships, and now we're too trusting as we're just going into the next chapter of life. Like, be smooth messing with these white folks. Y'all done got too many warnings, and y'all know. But y'all just keep pressing on. Y'all just keep pressing on. And for what? Y'all could fit into their world? Nigga, no. We need to be making our own worlds, and excluding and including who we want and who we don't want. Everyone else does it.